The top 20% of Australian households earn over $180,000 a year, and most of them still don't feel rich. This isn't just a statistic. Your salary, your savings, your home, they're being measured right now against a benchmark most Australians have never seen. By the end of this, you'll know exactly where you sit on Australia's real wealth scale. And I'm showing you the actual ABS numbers in 90 seconds. Don't skip. Here's the trap. Most people compare their lifestyle to their neighbors, not the actual data, and that gap is costing them everything. Australia's median household income is $112,000 a year. Sound comfortable? It still puts you right in the dead center, not the top. But here's what they're not telling you. Income alone doesn't define wealth in Australia, not even close. Two people can earn the same and be on completely different planets. There are 3 specific tests that separate looks wealthy from is wealthy, and test number 2 is going to genuinely surprise you. Let's start with income. The ABS says the average full-time Australian earns $98,218 a year. That's around $75,000 take-home after tax. These are the most recent figures as of April 2026, and honestly, the numbers have only gone up. Break that down and you're at $1,442 a week take-home. Which sounds all right, until Sydney rent takes $720 of it before you've bought a single thing. Sydney median rent hit $720 a week in 2025. That's $37,440 a year, nearly half a full-time salary, spent before groceries, petrol, or a single coffee. And if you bought instead? The average Australian mortgage repayment is now $3,100 a month, up 62% since 2020. That's not a home. That's a second job. So here's the real picture. And I'm giving you the exact Australian wealth thresholds in 60 seconds, so don't go anywhere. Net worth. That's the number that actually matters. Assets minus debts. It's your real financial position, and most people have never sat down to calculate it. The ABS puts Australian median household net worth at $134,000, but more than half that is locked in the family home. You literally can't spend it. Strip out the house and median investable wealth, your super, savings, and shares combined, drops to around $400,000. That's it. Everything else. And superannuation? The average 50-year-old Australian has $180,000 in super. They need $690,000 for a comfortable retirement. That's a $510,000 hole. This is going to make some people really uncomfortable. 6-figure earners in Australia are not rich. They're just surviving at a more expensive level. Everything you've been told is technically true, but it's missing the most important part. Cash flow, not salary, is what separates genuinely rich from just comfortable. Someone earning $85,000 with zero debt and $800,000 in assets is wealthier than someone on $200,000 with a $1.4 million mortgage. That's not an opinion. That's maths. Most people guess the rich threshold way too high. The actual ABS top 10% net worth figure, 2.3 million, not 10 million, not 5 million, 2.3 million, ABS 2025-26. Before we go any further, do you actually know your real net worth right now? Not a rough guess. The actual number. Most Australians have never calculated it, have you? Get this wrong and the gap between where you are and where you could be costs you $340,000 over 20 years. Not investing the difference is the most expensive decision you'll make. Right. So let's run the 3 wealth tests. Test 1, income ratio. You need your household income in the top 20% to even start this conversation seriously. Top 20% household income in Australia starts at $180,000. 2 people both earning $90,000, which honestly is achievable. That's your entry point. Test 2, asset base. And this is the one that surprises people every single time. I'm laying out the exact ABS numbers right now, so stay with me. To sit in Australia's top 20% by net worth, you need $1.7 million in total assets. Not just a house, super, investments, property, all of it combined. And the top 10%? You're looking at $2.3 million net worth minimum. That's roughly a $750,000 home, $600,000 in super, and $950,000 in other investments. Test 3, passive income. Can your investments pay your actual bills without you showing up to work? That's the real definition of financial freedom. The 4% rule says you need 25 times your annual expenses invested to live off returns alone. Spend $80,000 a year, you need $2 million in the market, working optional. Now, here's where it gets real. The average 40-year-old Australian has $137,000 in super and $45,000 in savings. That's $182,000 total investable wealth. Against a $2 million passive income target, the average Aussie at 40 is 91% short. And if nothing changes, here's exactly what that looks like in 20 years. If you invest nothing extra and markets average 7%, that $182,000 becomes $704,000 by age 60. Still $1.3 million short of the passive income threshold, still not free. But here's what you can actually do. Add $500 a month to your super or index fund from age 40, and that same calculation lands you at $187 million by 60. Same income, different choice. $500 a month is $125 a week. That's your takeaway coffees and your streaming subscriptions. Swap those for a future $187 million your money, your call. So what's the actual path? 3 moves. Know your real net worth today, contribute consistently to super or ETFs, and stop measuring your success by lifestyle. Measure the assets. And if you've got consumer debt, credit cards, buy now, pay later, that's step 0. Clear it first. Every dollar at 20% interest is a guaranteed negative return you can't beat. Salary sacrifice $10,000 extra into super each year, and you'll save roughly $250 in tax. The ATO is literally subsidizing your wealth building. That's not a loophole. That's the plan. Look, honestly, most people will never do this calculation. Not because they can't, because seeing the gap is scary. But knowing the number? That's where everything actually starts. Quick one? Drop your age and your rough net worth in the comments right now. No judgment at all. Let's see where the Aussie Invest community actually sits against these numbers. Subscribe if you want the actual playbook. Next week, we're breaking down exactly how to build a $1 million portfolio on an average Australian wage. You won't want to miss it.